I'm in southern Cyprus and it's absolutely beautiful. It's 26 degrees, it's 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and I believe it's throwing it down and blowing a gale in the UK. So I do apologise for that. So I've come back to visit a friend. I was here in February and I made my first video just over there. And I brought my camera gear along again this time. Not because I think it's fantastic in terms of landscape opportunities. We get far too many clear blue skies for that. But I wanted to try something new. And what I've decided is I'm going to try a little technical exercise. And I'm going to shoot 4 images. And all 4 images are going to be identical in terms of composition and in terms of shutter and aperture selection. Now, the idea is that the camera is going to stay static throughout every image. There's going to be a little bit of change when I move from dawn until dusk because I've got to take my camera gear away. But I want to shoot 4 images, 2 at dawn and 2 at dusk. And what I've decided upon, I'm going to use the rock pool that you see in front of me. It's a lovely composition and it's perfect to just create a bit of interest while we try this exercise. The pier at the back will create the backdrop and that'll be it. So like I said, the camera's not going to move throughout the exposures. It's going to sit just over there and it's going to focus in that direction. The sun actually comes up just out of shot to the left there. Now, the plan is to shoot 1 image during the blue hour at twilight in the morning, facing that direction like I say, and the second image, same direction, when the sun has risen just slightly above the horizon. Now I'm going to come back the following evening and shoot the exact same scene. I'm going to try and get the tripod in the same position as best possible and shoot the same image with the sun setting in that direction. Now what I'll do is I'll shoot the first of the 3 images, the sunset image, just as the sun's about to go behind the mountains, so it mirrors the dawn shot. And similarly, the final image will be taken at twilight during the blue hour in the evening. And I just want to see how the light will play onto this rock pool and the pier with those 4 images. And I've never done it before, and I'm really looking forward to trying it. And Cyprus is perfect for that. If we were in the UK, I'd probably come back in the morning, we'd have clouds. I'd come back in the evening, we'd have no clouds, and it wouldn't be consistent. Where at least here, we've got blue skies, and I'm probably guaranteed to get them for all 4 shots. So that's the plan. So I don't think there's anything more to say other than I'll see you in the morning. I've just taken the first shot because it was a bit of a rush and I didn't want to risk not getting it right before I did my pitch to the camera. So that's all done. I just need to relax now and just wait for the sun to come up and get the second image, and then we're done. I think we've just got 10 more minutes before the sun comes up, so I'm going to quickly run through the composition. Pop the camera on live view so you can see what I'm getting, and I've set that little camera up there so you can see the whole image as well and the scene beyond. Now essentially the image is focused on the pool in the immediate foreground. I've tilted the camera up on a vertical composition to take advantage of the pool and the little rock that's in it just to the right hand side as the anchor point that will take your eye in. But the critical part of the pool itself is this lovely shape that runs round all the way to the back here, and it's like an S in reverse, and it makes such a lovely lead in that you can't fail with it really. Now I've not put a polarizer on. The reason for that is at the moment the sky's been reflected in the surface. Now if I put a polarizer on, I'll remove all that glare and you'll just see the pool beneath it. And because the water is so clear, you wouldn't be able to tell there was any water in it and the effect will be lost. So I'm leaving it as is, no polarizer on, just so I can get the nice reflected light off the blue sky. But it's as simple as that really. But like I say, it all hinges on this pool in the very near distance and the way that it scoops out and takes your eye into the scene. And it's a very, very nice image. Really happy with it. I think the pier in the background, it's not the most picturesque of piers. I've done far nicer. It's actually used by the army, and it's actually falling to bits. But I rather like it. I quite like the roughness of it, the rustic appearance of it. I think it really helps just to make an image that's a little bit different than the norm. So I can see now, whether you can see it on the camera, that the sun is just starting to lift on the horizon there. So time to get into position and get ready for the next shot. So the sun is up now and it's probably about 5-10 degrees above the horizon. I'm ready for the second shot. Now in order to keep the shutter speeds consistent, I have had to put the Lee 6-stop neutral density on. I'm using at the moment ISO 200 to keep the shutter speed at 5 seconds, which I'm quite happy with. It's going to be a bit nicer quality to it, be less noise than the earlier one because that one was at 500 ISO. So lowering the ISO, obviously it decreases the amount of noise in the image. This camera, particularly this model, is pretty good at handling noise anyway, and I can shoot up to around about 1000, 1500 in a cluttered environment where there's lots of foliage, vegetation, things like that. I can even get it up to 3000. But for this scene we've got a lot of blue sky, a lot of empty spaces. It's important to try and get the ISO down as much as possible. So like I say, currently on ISO 200, f18, 5-second exposure, still got the grad on to hold back the sky and the water, and the 6-stop neutral density filter. All there is now to do is just take the image and see how it looks. Shut the blind at the back, 2-second timer. Take your hands off the tripod so you don't introduce any shake. And let's see how that looks. That's a really lovely shot, really lovely. The main differences is that obviously the light of the sun is now picking up on the edges of the rocks. But to be fair, by comparison to the earlier shot, there's not a huge amount of difference. The key difference that I can see here is that there is a lot more richness to the earlier image. There's almost a magenta feel to it, oddly. And of course you've not got the highlights on the rocks. You've got a little bit, but you've not got a huge amount. Looking at the histogram of the two images, they are very similar. That's interesting. A lot more richness to the earlier shot, much cooler this particular image, even though the sun's up and it's literally only just coming over the horizon. I would have expected quite a lot more warmth than that in the scene. Obviously with the post-processing I could give a little bit more of that into the image, but I'm trying to keep this as natural as possible. So what an interesting test. So I think that'll do for this session. How I have not fallen in that rock pool behind me is nothing short of a miracle. But anyway, quite happy with how it went. Some nice results. I am going to mark the position of the tripod legs so that I can come back and get the camera in as best possible the same position as I've got it now. There may be a slight deviation in terms of camera height, elevation, how it tilts, but I will try and use live view to line it up as much as I can for the second two images. But just bear that in mind at the end of the video, that there may be a slight shift in the composition. It shouldn't be much, but it can happen. So yeah, all in all, not a bad little session this morning, considering that I'm only 10 minutes from where I'm staying. So yeah, I'll catch you all later on. Leveling this up is just not easy at all. I've got markers placed exactly where the tripod legs were, so it's just trying to get as close as I can. I don't think it's going to make too much of a difference. The critical thing is going to be height, and I think I'm probably not a million miles away there, so it's probably as near as I'm going to get it. Make sure everything's nice and tight, and get the camera set up. Okay, so the image is lined up, we're back in position. I've managed to get the tripod, I think, pretty much perfect. The sun is just literally about to sink behind the mountains. So I'm going to take this shot quickly. All the settings are as before. I'm at ISO 500, 5-second exposure at f/18. So here we go. Shut the blind, 2-second timer, and away we go. Looks very, very different, but still very nice. I'm happy with it. So that was that one done. Like I said earlier this morning, we'll show all 4 images at the end. One more to take, so just need to wait around another 10-15 minutes, and then we'll get the last one in the bag, and that'll be it. Okay, so I think we're nearly there. I've taken the Lee 6-stop neutral density filter off, and I've put the camera back to 100 ISO. I'm just waiting those last few seconds for the light levels to get as they did this morning. So I've got the 5-second exposure. Very, very interesting how it's happening, really, because I'm going to be taking the shot at exactly the same time in terms of light intensity, and I find that really interesting. But I think we're pretty much there now. Yep, 5 seconds. So let's grab the shot and then we'll be done. Mirror lock up, 2-second timer, and just gotta wait. Yeah, that's a really nice image, really nice. I'm pretty amazed really at how different, or certainly from memory, how different all the shots are. And it's been a really interesting exercise, and I've enjoyed it, and I hope you have too. Never done anything like this before, so it has been interesting, and I think the fact that we're in Cyprus with no clouds has really helped with this exercise. So if you want to leave some comments about the video and talk about the images, please do so. I'd love to see what you have to say, and I'll try and get back to you as soon as I can. And in terms of new videos, if you want to be notified when new ones become available, ring the bell and you'll get those notifications straight away. So I think that's it. I think I'll head back, and I'll see you all again next time. So bye for now.